I think it's rich. I did think so. Because each of us see ourselves as rich. And it's that side that get fucked up. And we be like, damn, thank God it wasn't me.
I'm not like him.
Yeah, we all are.
Fuck no, bro. Fuck no.
Hey, France Fanon, right?
I'm not from Mensa, bro. I don't have it.
Hey, look, France Fanon, right? I read a little quote he had. It's a black book. And the nigga said, the sins that we hate in the world is the sins we despise within ourselves. He said some shit like that. He didn't say it like that, but that's basically what the fucking quote meant.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I don't. That's like, I think that comes from jealousy, right? It's like something that reminds you of what you lack is like, like.
Oh, what you are.
Yeah, I don't know. Usually, we tend to like gravitate towards those that relate to us. You know who fucking stopped in the room today? Fucking Champ is Boris. That fool tried to jump in because me and A-Walk were bickering at each other.
Yeah.
Trying to make a little comeback.
I'm slapping Chaos around right now. The truth of that. Really bad.
I wish I knew how to appreciate that, but I don't play the game.
I'll tell you this, I stopped playing because you got Scrabble and Scramble. I stopped playing that when niggas started cheating. You could take a screenshot, put it in an app, and then it'll give you the fucking words. And I realized at that moment, there's some niggas that don't care about honesty of the game. They just want to win. And if you're willing to pretend to be a winner,
Samoa, bro.
Nah, Samoa's different. Samoa's different.
Samoa is a homie, but that fool will lie to win the game. He'll change the story and everything.
You have to.
I heard him do it. You have to?
Yeah.
You were just about to be critical. You were just about to be critical as to why you stopped. Other people that do that, which is why you stopped. Now you're saying you have to?
If you look at Samoa like an argumentative, contentious debater, if I go to a debate fight and the debater only wants to tell the truth and only wants to say the facts that anybody could bump into in a book, that nigga whack. But if somebody could do all that, yeah,
I think fighting to the death is like fighting to the death is like yeah, I get that, but like changing it.
When Abraham Lincoln did that little presidential debate with Douglas, you think both of them niggas is like, yo, we both gonna tell the truth no matter what, and we're gonna win. The lies is gonna make this nigga Douglas lose. No. The lies is what won the war. You think Abraham Lincoln told these niggas the truth? Them niggas was mad when they found out he wanted to free the slaves. Because he wasn't talking that shit in the beginning.
Do you really think you want to free the slaves? Or was that
I just had to throw that dirty shit out there.
I don't think Abraham Lincoln gave a fuck about a slave.
ASB, you know you remind me of Pocahontas, so I'm going to tell you this. When that old white lady used to bake the pies, put it on the windowsill, who the fuck you think stole it?
Probably some badass, hungry little white kid. I don't know.
The fucking slaves. And they got a whooping for it. And they would eat that shit with their hands. Mouth, hands burning, everything. And it was worth the whooping. It was worth it. Even if you was going to be hung for that pie. The idea of you tasting something sweet one time in your life was worth it. So we wonder why a whole generation of niggas on drugs, because they chasing that pie.
I don't agree. I don't. Yeah. It was like some hungry ass fucking, like the neighbors' kids and shit. Nothing against white people, they were though. I mean, niggas was over there like cooking their own shit. That's what we do. I'm not racist, by the way. Y'all know that. Just tell her how it is.
You know what's crazy, I had to work a double today, and every time I know that, I can never sleep. So I'll be tired, like, for days. I don't sleep. And then when I'm relaxing, still can't sleep. But when someone comes to me and want to talk to me while I'm tired like that, I start falling asleep while I'm talking to them. And the sleep start feeling so precious that I'm like, yeah, I'm going to fall asleep while this nigga talking.
Yeah, I kind of agree with it. Yeah, I worked last night, and my sleep schedule's completely fucked up right now.
Tell me something people want but can't sell.
They want it, but they can't sell it.
Yeah. Someone just said time. Tell them what you just said.
All right, so time, because even if you're working something else on an hourly wage, your value of time varies from your employer.
See? Yeah. None of y'all small like that. Look at that.
I get halfway through these slave movies and I'm just like, I can't do it.
What is the movie that you're watching?
What is this called? The Book of Negroes.
What?
And you just like white Jew, but on the slate?
Yeah, that's the fucking Hebrew Israelite movie. That Kyrie Irving had the black people watching.
Oh.
They made all the blacks Hebrew Israelites. I hated that shit.
Oh, that's gonna be this one.
I can't do it. I don't know.
I ain't gonna front. I feel 12 Years a Slave was the greatest slave movie.
Which one?
12 Years a Slave.
Oh my God, it took me 4 days to watch it.
Yeah, that was a good long movie.
It was good, but I kept getting mad. I had to turn it off. The next day, I was like, let me, turn it back on. Turn it back on. You know what I mean? But it was good.
It was funny when they landed in Carolina and they got on the ship, and the nigga that was talking to them was like, yeah, and they see his masters and just ran and grabbed that nigga. You don't mess it up, you mess it up. That nigga funny.
What's crazy is like how many people were, black people were free, but not, but then, I mean, they were bringing the slaves over. You know what I mean? Like, not bringing them over.
You ever go outside and see the cats, and they look at you, you look at them, and you take a step and the shit just start running. That's how the slaves used to be after they got free. So like they'll hide in the woods and they'll go out to pick some berries, and then when a group of white niggas see them, they'll look and they start running. Just like that.
Yeah. After 400 years of fucking being mentally abused and shit, you know, I could see.
You remember the song he was singing in that movie? Oh, nigga, run. Jungle catch you. Nigga, run. Jungle catch you. Nigga, better run. That's a real song. I remember my grandma singing that shit. Now we live in a generation where they run and they don't know why they run.
I don't know. My mouth is so damn slick, and this is just Clubhouse. I don't give a fuck.
You know how they handle slick talking niggas back in the day? The same way they handle slick talking Yankee niggas that came down south. They said, we'll burn you at the stake at Plymouth Rock like we did your ancestors. And every slick talking Negro had a tree with his name on it. Hang him from his tongue. Hang him high. Hang him low. Chariot, drag that nigga down.
Yeah, they probably had me hung upside down with my legs open and chopped me in half.
And
you know?
You don't know the psychology of it. You remember when they crucified that nigga Jesus? On the pictures, they usually make it cute and put a little cloth over that nigga genitals. So you have a little self-respect for that nigga. But in reality, that nigga was booty naked, balls all shriveled up, dick all cold, so it shrunk. And the nigga was embarrassed on that motherfucking cross. So every nigga who hung, he was booty naked. The women was booty naked, titties hanging, asshole out, coochie out. It was a fucking shame. Make a nigga say, I don't want that to happen to me. And you'd be surprised what a nigga would do so that shit won't happen.
I don't know if I'd have made it off the continent of Africa. Shit.
I hate to say this, ASB, but be honest. Would a woman suck some dick for freedom? Now, what about a nigga?
I think the niggas would.
And you don't think the women would?
Yeah, but everybody be gobbling dicks. It's just depends on who you are. But yeah.
That's nasty. Just blow your nose.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, man.
Don't fuck, bro. I'm fuck. Breathe a little bit.
Into us where we like misattribute like agency to things that don't have agency, and I think that explains a lot of like the God belief. I also think what does a lot of work in the God belief is like the way in which like our brains aren't like they're not like information, they're not like data processing machines, right? They're like narrative processing machines. So like a lot of things in the world are very complicated, very complex, and our like minds just like prefer like a simple explanation. So like I think that accounts for like a lot of the conspiracy theory stuff. I think that accounts for a lot of like the religious stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's just kind of where you stand, man.
No, but it's a good point. I think it's a bit tangential, though. So it seems to me that there's something about, like, how we see the world that we project onto, like, other nature of the world. Given that there are just so many other ways that organisms can be oriented toward the world, and ours is one of purpose. So we look through purpose glasses, and I think that is just a trivial artifact of just some contingent artifact of lower legacy of evolution, as opposed to like just being one of many styles or modes to orient oneself toward, biology orients itself toward existence.
Is it okay if we get more people mixing into this?
No,
shut up.
this is a soliloquy.
I'm just joking. You really, yeah, I was joking too.
Right now, there are billions of squid in the ocean, just living their squid lives, and I think they're probably conscious. And it's just so weird to think about, like, even on this planet right now, there's just all these minds. They're just thinking very alien thoughts, The way they experience their lives is so different because they have 8 arms instead of our 4, like, 2 legs and 2 arms, and they're just alien creatures, and they're just living around us, thinking their thoughts. It's just so cool to me.
I'm saying, isn't there like a difference between like consciousness and like sapiens?
Yeah.
Sentience or whatever.
I mean, they're not sapient, but they're conscious, I think.
Like, if something's not sapient, I'm not sure that it has even like the same type of like second order thoughts that we do.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're going around thinking their thoughts kind of thing, right? Like, it's more like they're going around like reacting to their environment or something like that.
Yeah, they're perceiving the world, and I think that perception is a type of thought.
Yeah, that's fair.
And like, I do think they have minds. They just aren't thinking about the fact that they're thinking, but they are like seeing prey, and they're seeing mates, and they are trying to solve problems. Like, there's this guy on YouTube who has a lot of pet octopuses, and they're really adorable, and you can see them trying to like solve puzzles, open jars, and they're even kind of social. Like, they like want to hang out with the guy, and like it's plausible that they have some sort of like primitive
High
consciousness.
level cognition, yeah. It's the same with like dolphins and like I guess apes too.
It's so dumb that Elon Musk, like, he should give $100 million to some mad scientist who's just gonna breed octopuses to become sapient. Like, why not? You get to be the guy who brought
Sapient octopuses to the world.
You don't think you're gonna be remembered for forever as like a god, as you're the guy who caused that to happen? Like, think about your legacy, bro.
Isn't there a cautionary tale to be told in Watchmen about sentient octopuses?
All the science fiction has these warnings. Like, there's so many like Gattaca is like, oh, genetic engineering's bad. Oh, Jurassic Park, oh, it's bad to build dinosaurs. Like, no, all this shit's cool. You're dumb. The ones that are actually dangerous are bioweapons, AI, and nuclear weapons. Those are the 3 actually dangerous ones. Most science fiction is dangerous because it's not dangerous to clone people. It's not like, I don't know, there's like so much shit that we worry about that isn't worrisome.
What if we made apes like, super intelligent, such that they could like become their own society and eventually take over? Is that a good scientific move?
Well, okay. If the octopuses are like smarter than us, yeah, I can see that being maybe bad. But like, if they were just on our level, I think that could be kind of cool. Just have it. And not only that, if we're breeding them for intelligence, we can also breed them for kindness. Like dogs, we bred to be our companions. There's no reason why we can't breed these octopuses to be our companions.
You know what I think is so interesting, Sam? And I've seen this theme pop up at least 2 times. Like this idea of bartering with other creatures, like an octopus, and like being harmonious with them. Like their needs and our needs are somehow intertwined in some way. And that was the first time I've heard of that concept. And I wonder, like, what made you think of that? would you think in those terms that, like, of this idea of our values overlapping in some way, like an octopus and I? Like, why would you think that? Why did that come from in your thought?
I mean, I don't know, man. I just think I don't know how to answer that question other than I like to daydream. And right now we are like basically on the precipice of being gods. And we already can fly like gods. We can already make fire like gods. We can already like do basically, this is basically telepathy, the ability to like send our thoughts across the world. And the only thing that like, but we have yet to do like the biomancy. We've yet to like fuck with nature, but like we should. Why not? What? I think it would be good for the octopuses if we could make them smart and happy and cooperative with us.
Like, they are smart.
They're not as smart. They're smart as like dogs, but they're not as smart as chimps or dolphins or people. We might be the only species in this universe. It's probably not true, but we might be. So why not bring more sapient creatures into existence? Seems like life is good.
Well, it seems to me that there's going to be like a glaring answer to that, and it's like, imagine where the octopus, his interests just like diverge from ours in some fundamental way. Like giving octopi rights and accepting like their needs on par with our needs seems to be like it's going to be deleterious in some way. But surely we don't diverge like one to one on what we want. You know?
I got a question, maybe for Sam, because he's like the history guy. All this talk about bartering with animals, I'm curious if that's how certain colonial powers felt about the indigenous humans that they interacted with. Is that how they saw the tribes? You know, every imperial regime, but some of them, they saw the natives as subhuman. They might have just figured that these are animals and we can.
And did you hear that question?
I don't think that they saw other people like animals. I think they saw them as people, and that I do think that we have so much opportunity right now. We're living in a time where the future is genuinely open. We could destroy ourselves, or we could do really interesting stuff. And the interesting stuff we could do is, one of the things is to spread consciousness to the other galaxies. One interesting thing to do is to make other life. One interesting thing to do is to become immortal. One interesting thing to do is to make VR worlds that we can live in and just sort of like become gods in our own little virtual worlds. There's lots of really cool artistic projects we could get up to if we weren't just so stupidly focused on petty shit, and if we don't kill ourselves first.
Incredible. I inspired to say something. Like this idea of bringing about awareness and intelligence in another species seems to me so extraordinarily beautiful. Imagine that we awaken another creature, another species, and how they would orient themselves toward us. That they were once just something lowly, and yet we gave them, just out of like love or whatever reason, this ability to have to be like us. I think it's just like playing God in that way is just a really beautiful way to look at the world.
You know how grateful you'd be if you found out that some creature came here and made us? Like, thank you, aliens, for turning monkeys into humans. And we have this ability to do this for other creatures. I want us to make dolphins really intelligent. I want us to make elephants really intelligent. I want us to make octopuses really intelligent. Just like, and then also don't just make them intelligent. Also make them kind. If you're already tinkering with their minds, you can have them be really friendly, so you don't have to fight with them. And then we just have these awesome creatures with very different perspectives. Like a kind octopus and a kind elephant will have very different perspectives about existence and philosophy and stuff like that. And that's awesome to have new perspectives on these big questions.
I wonder if we would be horrified if they were able to communicate their desires to us. What is it that they want? And surely wouldn't it be fascinating if we found something altruistic in their desires? Could you fucking imagine that? I think that would be the most chilling thing, because we can understand their desires for survival and food and shelter, things like that. But I have a feeling that if other species were able to communicate with us, they would be able to tell us about their desires in such a way that we would consider that to be an altruistic thing. And let me just hit this real quick. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. As I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mom thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. And they treated me like a punk. Alright, I can't. That's too fast for me. Sorry. Yeah, can we do karaoke in like an hour, or is it just like played out?
I think we should wait like a little bit before we do it. I'll take that. I don't want to do it every night. But I can drop some bars.
And music drop one for me, bro. Just for me.
Sure, hold on.
For me, I'm kidding. Oh my god, you're a fucking absolute G.
Technology, so I am dropping bars. Look at us, making all that violence. Going through the future, doing all this science. You don't wanna mess with me. Learning science, learning all that chemistry. Learning science, learning the biology. Getting all that philosophy. Take an octopus and give it a mind. Become a fucking guy, practice the mind. Going from the Greek to the taking to take. People that we can fucking talk to. Get perspective from the creatures. We get mind with different other features. Yeah, we gon' have a new nation. Because we gon' have different imaginations. Like the octopus is chillin' here. It's got 8 minds. One every fucking tentacle has got a mind. And it's gonna be really fucking cool to talk. So we ain't gonna do this science, never gonna stop like people. Take a dolphin. We gon' be chillin' and laughing. Surfing with these critters in the ocean. Turning into God, that's motion. Take an elephant. They is fucking smart. Take them and we gonna get it started. They got brains, but we gon' make them bigger. And then, you know what I figure, we gon' learn to keep them up. Then we gon' go to Pluto. Elephants do that cool though. We gon' go to all the other galaxies. Yeah, that is our analogy, fam. So much cool stuff to do. Virtual reality, that's what I do. Be a fucking god living inside of AI. Then I'm gonna live forever, never gonna die. Oh my, I'm so happy that I am scared of death. Never gonna die, never gonna be like breath. Like, thank you, Mr. time for the science. No time. Hey, Daniel.
That was good, dude.
You're fucking fired.
Thank you for doing that. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Appreciate the love.
It's
Hello.
hi, how are you doing?
Doing good.
All right, buddy. Where are you from?
Good. We're just talking about how we get to use science to transform the universe and genetically engineer creatures with godlike power to make them sapient.
All right. Nice.
Yeah.
Are you guys from USA?
Yeah, I'm from the USA.
Oh, it's quite in the US. Which part in the US, huh?
I live in New York City.
New York City. Oh, nice. I live in Boston. Last Saturday I was in New York in the Queens. I was in the Queens.
Alright, but you gotta talk about something more interesting.
What do you do there? You know,
No, that's still boring. You gotta get way more philosophical and weird.
can you pull up this? Cass is my phone.
Cass is your phone? What?
My Cass in the down is my phone. Can you pull up out? Cass, come up.
Alright, man, you get your chance to be interesting, you failed.
Does anyone else feel disappointed that the ceasefire between India and Pakistan is robbing the world of the opportunity of there being no more Pakistan?
I mean, I don't like nuclear war, so I'm for a ceasefire starting.
I don't think that Pakistan's worried about a nuclear war. They're worried about a nuclear what?
Because they're dirty.
I mean, have you ever seen Pakistani ingenuity? It's basically hit something in a dirty hole until it's a different.
It is interesting that they named one of their cities Islamabad. You'd think that they would have named it Islamabad, but they kind of took an L on that.
Yeah, I got told off for calling it Islamabang.
Well, I'm grateful that there's not a nuclear war that's going to happen because that's bad.
I don't think that Pakistan has the capability to launch their antiquated nukes.
Yeah. But I still am glad that I don't like to see cities incinerated.
I'm all for the reforming of one entire borough.
You want to have a unified India again?
Well, the reality is that there are more Islamic Indians than there are Islamic Pakistanis. Most of the people that live in India get on, with no issues. It's the extremists that cause the problems. The people that have tried to attack the Ram Mandir, the people that want to, start false elections in other countries under the Khalistani flag. We've got to a point now where we really should recognize that nation states are no longer a thing, and trade is the only thing that has ever stopped human beings from hurting other human beings and taking their stuff. War doesn't achieve that. And this idea of caliphates and nation states, it's antiquated. It has no purpose in the modern world.
I don't want Pakistan with India to join because then Hindus will have more competition. Like, I want Hindus to have a place where they can be Hindus and not have to deal with Muslims trying to fight with them. So I think it's good that they're separated.
But no, there are more Muslims in India than there are in Pakistan.
If you added more Pakistanis, there'd be lots of It's not as though, it wouldn't be a majority Muslim, but it would still be more Muslims.
I mean, it would be the worst kind of Muslims. You'd be dealing with extremists. You'd be dealing with poorer Muslims who don't want to integrate, but want to have Sharia introduced into places and want to have this infestation of faith as a form of governance. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked since before the printing press.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're saying you don't want a greater Barat, because then there'd be extremists.
I do. We just need to flush away. We just need to wipe away the shitty people.
Oh, so you either want them nuked or ethnically cleansed, and that's how you want to solve the problem.
Or re-educated. You know, the Uyghurs have been dealt with by the Chinese in a similar fashion. That can happen in Pakistan.
I mean, I'm all for educating Muslims out of their Islam, so I just don't want it to be as intense as all that.
Sam, I can never get a rise out of you, no matter how controversial or ridiculous I get. Like, I've never managed to raise your temperature a single degree.
Cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, just steady hand all the time. Even when you're quoting like plenty of fish statistics on ethnic dating, you're just like no rise in temperature at all.
Yeah. I'm a robot, baby. Emotions are a mistake.
Alright, let's try this one. Okay, let's try this one. I think that women should be treated equally, and given that they are about 7% of the prison population, we need to arrest and lock up far more women.
I'm just kidding. I mean, I don't think that prison should even be a thing like it is. I mean, we should have prisons, but a lot of petty stuff should be solved with corporal punishment.
And try to exact vengeance is probably not the best way to rehabilitate people surrounded by other criminals.
Yeah.
Oh shit, if I can't get a rise, I'll carry on wearing this PTR and just accuse random white people of using hard art in black spaces. That shit's hilarious. No one ever looks at the PTR and goes,